This is Angola, the African nation with a machete on its flag and an exclave that produces 60% of the country's oil. The crushed dinosaur bones that fuel our society and shape foreign policy. It has brought great wealth to some countries and suffering to many. And in 1955, Angola struck oil, bringing wealth to a few elites and war, hunger, and poverty to many. But its story starts much earlier. Before colonial times, Angola was inhabited by various tribes before Bantu people migrated to southern Africa and formed kingdoms like the Kingdom of the Congo, one of the main trading empires of sub-Saharan Africa. In 1575, the Portuguese arrived in search of slaves. The subsequent slave trade decimated the region, igniting infighting and allowing the Portuguese to tighten their grip on Angola. Natives were forced to adopt Christianity and speak Portuguese. The slave trade was banned in 1836, and the Portuguese shifted to extracting as many resources as possible from the colony. This included Angolan ivory, coffee, sugar, rubber, and diamonds, all of which were sold for a profit back in Europe. Portuguese rule was harsh, and by 1960, the Angolan people had had enough. By this time, the FNLA, MPLA, and UNITA groups were operating in the country, but consistently clashed with one another, and by 1970, the Portuguese had driven them out of the country, until a military coup in Portugal forced them to exit the colony. In their absence, the MPLA took control, and peace ensued. Just kidding, civil war broke out. The Angolan Civil War became a part of the larger Cold War, as the communist MPLA was backed by the Soviet Union and Cuba, with Cuba deploying as many as 40,000 soldiers to the region. The MPLA showed their loyalty to the communists by mimicking the hammer and sickle on Angola's own flag. The FNLA was backed by the United States and China, while UNITA was supported by South Africa. Civil war dragged on until 2002, when UNITA and the MPLA brokered a peace deal and held elections. But decades of conflict had left the country with crumbling infrastructure and poor sanitation, a crisis that was worsened by a collapse in oil prices in 2008 and 2014. But in recent years, Angola's population has boomed, with its largest city, Luanda, boasting a population of 8 million people. Luanda serves as the financial center for Angola and is most famous for being the most expensive city in the world, where a sandwich costs you $30 and the average rent is $12,000 a month. It's a city where a growing skyline is contrasted by neighboring slums, a theme common in Angola. Even with its massive oil wealth, 31% of Angolans earn less than $2 a day, and another 30% are illiterate. Angola ranks 125th in the world in terms of equality and 121st in corruption. Government officials have constantly mishandled the vast resources of the country and plunged the average citizen into poverty. Global powers see great promise in Angola. Since 2014, China has invested $12 billion into Angola as part of the Belt and Road Initiative. The US also provides aid and investment to Angola. Angola is closely tied with its southern neighbors, Namibia, Botswana, and South Africa, and is a member of the South African Economic Zone. To the north, Angola has supported military intervention in its neighbors, the DRC and the Republic of the Congo, in order to protect its exclave known as Cabinda. Cabinda is a tropical area separated from the rest of Angola by the DRC. Cabinda lies on vast oil reserves and is home to 60% of Angola's oil. The rest of mainland Angola is a variety of climates, with the center dominated by mountains, plains in the east, and desert to the south. Angola lies just south of the DRC, west of Zambia, and north of Namibia, with whom it shares the famously uninhabited Skeleton Coast. Angola's unique geography provides it with a combination of arable land and abundant natural resources. Angola is a country that has endured much hardship through years of conflict, but is capable of immense growth if corruption is managed and equality improves. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and stay tuned for Antigua and Barbuda.